On one of the most recent videos, Jess Cotton addressed one of the biggest problems we have with current Yu-Gi-Oh! The lingering floodgates. These cards like Abyss Dweller, like Dimensional Barrier, they have such powerful effects and almost zero counters. So, inspired by this video made by the GOAT himself, I'm gonna talk about what, to me, bothers me more about Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. And I gotta say, yes, I agree with Jess Cotton. I think lingering floodgates, they are a kind of problem over modern Yu-Gi-Oh! But they aren't the thing that bothers me more. And I gotta say, even though I'm still young, I have been playing this game for the last like 9 years. I have been playing since I was just a kid, and I saw a lot of things. I saw a lot of improvement, I saw a lot of things that get worse, but there was one thing that always bothered me, and this is the separation between the OCG and the TCG, and how the OCG design products that are gonna fuck the TCG entirely just because they have Maxx on their card pool, and then some kind of decks weren't gonna be very big problems at OCG, but they're gonna like fuck TCG for a long time. And this was the case, for example, with Super Heavy Samurai. Super Heavy Samurai is the kind of deck that did, well, it was okay on the OCG, but it wasn't like the meta thread, like we have to play against this, we have to be prepared for this deck, like it was on the TCG, where it had to be emergency ban list. If we gotta think well about this, think about all the recent TCG exclusive releases. Do you think about anything really problematic? Because we can look, for example, one of the most recent and impactful TCG exclusive cards was a single Lizer that takes itself out of the field. Oh my god, this card is so broken, I can't believe this. And then when we go for the OCG, they have Link Vrain packs. The Link Vrain pack is the super sum of everything which is wrong about how the OCG is designing their cards. Because they got like infinity broken cards, Hulk Freibergs, they got Predaplant Virgin Anaconda, Isolde, Jasmine, a lot of broken cards, and a lot of them are getting banned. And some of the ones that are not banned, they are because they don't have a right room on the format right now to be played. But they are cards that are so strong and so powerful that we can see them getting banned at some point in the story of this game. So when you look further for this, we gotta think. They are just designing this kind of card because they also have Maxx. And in this case, having Maxx makes them like less problematic. But then when we get those cards, we should just take this L and go home. I don't think the thing should be like this, and this has been a problem from a long time ago, especially when TCG goes and makes a lot of weak cards, a lot of weak archetypes, like for example the Subterror and the Spiral, and they go for the OCG and they go like, okay, how can we broken this archetype and make like the most insane deck out of this? This happens a lot. Because in most of times, they are just like being kept out of the insanity metagame by one card that we don't have on TCG. So this is a problem. It's bigger than just like, oh my god, OCG sucks, because I don't think that's the case. I think they are doing a great job for what they are supposed to do, is creating cards for the OCG. But we are taking the L as a whole community for the TCG because these cards exist in a space where the Maxx doesn't exist. And even though we can discuss a lot about how Maxx should be banned, and I think this is a very common sense over all the TCG players that Maxx is a hell of card, but even some Asian players, they are getting bored by the Maxx. The Multiple Pearly card, this card is a great way to try to make a more fair Maxx, and maybe we can get an archetype of those cards, but some of them more specific for some scenarios. And in all these cases, you can draw some cards, but you don't go like Infinity Plus out of one card. And it's an Infinity Plus that also gathers you of doing a lot of good stuffs over your game mechanics. Like there is a lot of cards that you can design just because of Maxx itself being a card. And at some point, at the TCG, we just take these L's. So this is here the thing that bothers me more. Like, let's look for how many formats we got ruined by OCG crazy stuff. Out the Emancipator format. Emancipator was a great deck in TCG. was like probably one of the best tier zeros out of all TCG. On the OCG, otherwise, the deck was cool. The deck was nice, but it was not so dominant like it went over the pandemic years of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's because they have Maxx there. We don't. So we just take this L. We have a lot of problems with dragons. All the variations of dragon links we have from 2020, from before and after this, they are just like crazy ways to go for the Buster Lock with the Union Carrier. Union Carrier is another kind of card that is just justified on TCG because we don't have Maxx to punish big combo decks. Because feels like so unreal for the OCG. They are going for a deck that tries to go for the Buster Lock or with the Union Carrier, just because to do so they need to have a big dragon or a big dark monster, and they also have to have the Union Carrier to then put the Buster Whelp on that monster to lock your opponent out of his extra deck. Do you guys see how many stages we need to have until something is done, and how many stages this goes through, and how many special summons this goes through so we can have this play? This is the kind of thing that keeps repeating itself. And I think the only valid approach to correct this mistake is to unify the teams over the Konami, OCG and TCG that can design the cards. Because yes, we know they are separate teams, like the TCG exclusive cards and the OCG exclusive cards, they go in very different lines of how the game should be played. And then we make some weak cards, but like some kind of funny cards, but in most of cases irrelevant cards. And they make some of the most broken cards that can be gathered by Maxx. So the best way to do so is if we could at least just like make this team one thing only and let them work together. Let them work together from like, okay, this card design should be nice, but this is very strong and very toxic for the game if you don't have Maxx. Another way to look so, and this is something that we can look further, is to ban Maxx on the OCG. If we ban Maxx on the OCG, this only change in ban list would give us a lot of changes also overall the game design, overall the game mechanic of this game. Because the cards by itself keeps up so many terrible stuff, so many toxic stuff that shouldn't be printed anymore. Especially when we, who already banned the card, are just getting the worst parts by it. Like we are not getting the oh my god, crazy combos that die to Maxx, but they are bad because Maxx have. No, we just get the crazy combos and have terrible formats because of that. This same thing happened over the Gouki format in 2018. Who remembers how fun it was to get Gambler Dragon? Yeah, Gambler Dragon, a card that gets out cards from your hand. And if you Maxx your opponent, you're probably going to so much plus, and your opponent's not gonna be able to gambler you. But again, we don't have Maxx. So I think this is now one of the best moments of the game for the OCG to ban Maxx, because they are now getting the Muchumi, and the Muchumi could be a good way to change things there, and maybe we can look for a more solid format over TCG, Master Duel, and even the OCG without this kind of crazy card that just got way toxic. And we know that they know which cards are toxic. We can look at this when we go for any special event of Master Duel. When we go for any event on special events on Master Duel, they made a special ban list and they ban a lot of the crazy cards. They ban Maxx, they ban the Fossil Dyna, they ban everything that is toxic and makes the game less interactive, because Maxx at the ends make the game less interactive and has been keeping so much power by itself that changes the whole way that we play the game by here or by the Asian parts of the globe. And if you think what I'm saying is crazy, give me a comment down below. If you think I'm correct or I maybe have missed the point, give a comment down below. We are now 1k people here. I'm very glad about this in like less than a month. So thank you so much for you guys. And with that being said, see you next video. Goodbye.